Hey, it's Clay. Welcome to another League of Legends video. This time I wanted to cast a game. This was a ranked match I just got done playing, and it was pretty crazy, redonkulous-tastical. And I thought it would be a fun game to cast, and just for the yahoo of it. Playing Caitlyn this game, got this Arctic Warfare skin, which is definitely my favorite. A little bit of skirmishing here at the level 1, but I don't think anything too crazy or nuts is going to happen. Got those new ward skins going on, which is pretty sweet. Let's check those new ward skins. Oh, look at those new wards, particle effect thingies, looking pretty awesome. But yeah, this is on the new 3.12 patch, so lots of, I guess, not that crazy changes going on, but anyways, running to lane, Thresh and I are going to be laning against Ezreal Soraka. So, anytime you're up against a Soraka lane, you just have to realize that it's going to be just about impossible to shove them out of lane. Soraka is a pretty strong counter to Caitlyn, just because Caitlyn's all about poke. She has very weak all-in. All she can do is sit back at 650 range and poke away, get her headshots, passives off on you, and it's going to be rough if you don't have any sustain. But if you do have sustain, like Soraka, the queen of sustain. Ooh, missing 2 last hits there. That's bad. I think my last hitting actually was quite bad early on. But if you do have sustain like Soraka, this lane actually is very difficult. Just because all Caitlyn can do is poke. All of her power is basically in poking. So you just kind of have to realize that, that it's going to take a lot of effort to get this Ezreal and Soraka out of lane. Just because, I mean, the thing about Soraka is that her heal is on such a long cooldown, but it's also fairly powerful that she usually has enough mana to pretty much just spam it. God, I missed a lot of last hits early on. This is really, really sad. So, but anyways, that doesn't mean I'm not going to try. So, I'm going to, and the big thing that even if I'm not poking them out of lane, what I am trying to do is put on some pressure. The early creep score lead is tied, but hopefully that will start to turn in my favor if I'm not so derpy and can actually get these last hits. Oh, thank you, finally, but I missed another one. But anyways, pressure is really undervalued in the bot lane, and Caitlyn is so good at putting on a lot of pressure. Thresh has a lot of crowd control, so the threat of a hook is always there. And when you combine that with my auto attacks, you know, if you watch Ezreal, you know he's timing himself to get these last hits under tower. So every time that I see him ready to go for a last hit, I'm just going to go ahead and poke him, auto attack him. And even if I'm not forcing them out of lane, it's a mental thing. I'm wearing them down. You know, it's very frustrating to be constantly poked. And that's what Caitlyn does best. So just trying to put on pressure. I knew that he was going to come for that last hit, and I'm going to try to, and he actually missed one of those, so that's good. Actually, I've missed some as well, so a little derpy, but actually Ezreal got some nice damage off onto me. A recent change is I just went to 6% lifesteal on my Quince instead of 4 for the longest time. God, I'm missing a lot of last hits. Come on, Caitlyn, let's do this. But I went to 6% lifesteal, so that's 3 lifesteal Quince instead of 2. No attack damage Quince at all. And I think I like this setup. If you watch this lane, I actually got down a lot, but I've already pretty much got myself up to half health. With between the Doran's Blade and my lifesteal Quince, I have so much sustain, and this is really nice, especially with a support like Thresh, who can't really do anything in terms of keeping me alive. He does have a shield, but he doesn't really have anything in the way of healing me back up. So you just kind of have to realize that, especially if you are going with one of these non-sustainy supports, that it's important that having lifesteal in your Quince is really, really beneficial. It's just something that is so useful. So, again, back to applying pressure after that little gank right there. Just trying to get inside Ezreal's head and make him feel really, really sad about his life. And at the same time, not missing too many last hits myself. I feel like this kind of trading style with Caitlyn is something that really requires a lot of practice. Because you're auto-attacking the wave, you're queuing the wave every once in a while, and you're auto-attacking them, and you're trying to last hit yourself, and it's really, really something that takes a lot of practice and is not an easy thing to master. But it's very powerful, and you can see just how low I'm getting them right now. It's really paying off, and I'm just going to lifesteal off of this wave, not really going to be too afraid or sad about my health situation. Ezreal is probably going to get healed back up, but he is also going to miss creeps. He just missed one right there. He's probably going to miss another one. There goes another one down. And so that's good. That's exactly what I want to do. Even though I missed one as well, I'm trying to put as much pressure on Israel as I possibly can, just to really try to keep him down. And I'm starting to get a little bit of a lead, 37-31. I missed another one right there. God, like I said, my last hitting early on was quite suspect. But anyways, with Caitlyn, and almost with any AD carry, I feel like this is a really good way to play the lane, that you just try to put pressure on the enemy, try to look for your opening. You know, other AD carries are a little more all-in, like a Graves or a Twitch. They're a little bit more all-in, a little bit less about poke. But that doesn't mean that they can't be effective. And the big thing here is I'm really just trying to gain an advantage wherever I can, and that's with my poke. So that's Caitlyn. I've played Caitlyn a lot. She's, I think, my second most played champion in ranked this season, and this is really, I think, the way to play her. You have to be aggressive with your poke, because if you let them kind of last hit, get a couple of items, and go all in on you, you're going to be destroyed, and then you're going to be pretty much useless. Caitlyn is designed to be a lane bully. She doesn't really have hyper scaling into late game. She doesn't really have any sort of steroid outside of her passive, which is a little bit unreliable. You know, she's not like a Vayne who's got, you know, a steroid on her ultimate. She's got her W, which is just the craziest steroid in the game. She's got her Q, which gives you an 80 steroid. I mean, she has so many steroids. You know, Tristana's got steroids. Misfortune's got steroids. Twitch has steroids. I mean, all these other AD carries have steroids, so Caitlyn doesn't. So she's got to abuse her range. She's probably the strongest champion in the game. Before you go back and buy items, you know, with the Doran's Blade, she's hands down the strongest champion in the game, just because her auto attacks, they're basically free. They are basically free damage on the opponent. You've got this leash range, which I've talked about before in my zoning guide, but this is kind of an extenuation of that idea. So. If we take a look at where things are at, started to get a little 13 CS lead, starting to poke down on this tower. All good things that Caitlyn does very, very well. This game has been fairly action-packed. It looks like Lee Sin has been ganking like a masked madman. He's got three kills. TF has 2 kills. TF got counterpicked by this Zed, but I think that my assumption is that Lee Sin was camping him and able to help him out quite a bit. Nice hook by the Threshman. Going to try to get some auto attacks. And you can see how this is another little tidbit. I think I've talked about this before, but I call it A-clicking, or I think other people call it orb walking. But it's something that if you watch this gameplay, every time I auto attack, I try to move in between. And you try to get a feel for your attack speed to know, you know, even if it's just a little sidestep, how far you can move until your auto attack comes off of cooldown again. And getting a feel for this is so crucial. I cannot explain to you guys how important it is. It's a very minor and subtle tip, but see right there, auto attack, move, just a little thing right there. But I probably got 3 or 4 more auto attacks than I would have had I just stood there and auto attack. This is the biggest thing that you don't see off lower level 80 carries, is that they don't understand the concept of attack moving. So you want to auto attack and then move in between. Auto attack, move in between. You want to always be doing this. Get yourself into a rhythm. Get a feel for your attack speed. I'm just going to flash away from this Zac because he's frightening, and I think I probably would have gotten blown up by Ezreal, although Ezreal's a little low on mana. But anyways, got ourselves up to a 20 CS lead, although Ezreal's going to close that gap a little bit here. Going to get my best friend sword. Anytime I can go back and buy a BF sword, I consider that a massive success in lane. First trip back, get a BF sword. I think I was sitting on like 2,200 gold, so doing very, very well early on. We have a 200 gold lead, which is nice. A lot of that is coming from Lee Sin's jungle pressure. Top lane is also doing very well. Mordekaiser's getting pretty well dumpstered right now by this Gangplank. I'm just going to shove this wave in. Now that especially that I have my BF sword, it's just like easy mode. Look at all these creeps that Ezreal is losing. Yep, he's definitely down 20 CS right now. So very, very nice right there, able to get ourselves going. And again, we're just going to continue to assert dominance. If you look at Ezreal's buys, I actually think this was a mistake. I think his buys in his itemization in this game was very poor. Let's see, he's sitting at 109 attack damage. Contrast that with my 139. So I have, as we go to Dragon, 119 to 139. That's 20 more AD. That is a lot of extra attack damage that I am holding over him. In this early laning phase, it's very poke dependent. It's just going to provide me with a massive, massive advantage over my opponents. Unfortunately, I did use quite a bit of mana early on. I feel like maybe I should think about itemizing a little bit for mana on Caitlyn, but probably it's smarter. They're picking up my first kill on Soraka, but it's probably just smarter to be a little more cautious. But going to try to fall back a little bit. TF is going super ham, and I think he picks up that... Oh, he did pick up that kill, but now Zed does take out Thresh, but I am going to get the kill here with that auto attack, so... Overall, that was good for us. We only lost 2, they lost 3, and we got the dragon. So that was a very successful dragon. Maybe you could call it a sneak right there, but that was definitely successful and in our favor. And it just goes to show you, I think, the power of my early BF sword really came in handy right there. You know, Ezreal itemized for so much mana with his... I think he just bought the Ruby Crystal, but with his Tear of the Goddess, he put so much money into itemizing for mana that it just is going to leave him very behind. And that team fight, I think, really showed it. I think that for an AD carry, you really need to prioritize early attack damage. Early attack damage is so beneficial. It helps you last hit. It helps you poke. And it's just so good early as an early purchase. You know, later in the game, you want to get crit, you want to get attack speed, you want to get armor pen. But early on, you really want to get flat AD. Thought I could get a little more damage onto that Soraka, but I should have known that Ezreal was going to show up. But I do have some pots, and I've got my lifesteal quince, so I felt like I could stay around a little bit longer. I've got so much range that I felt like I could stay safe and just kind of last hit under my turret. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Pretty much lifestealing back up. And you just see how much work my lifesteal quints are doing. I'm pretty much all the way at full health. I think I maybe took a couple of pots, but there's a nice hook by Thresh, and that's going to lead to a kill. Just kind of sped right through it. But basically, Thresh got a nice hook, and so we killed him. Or we killed her. Killed that Soraka. Good job by TF to port in and get a kill there. The game is starting to snowball a little bit. You can see I'm up to, just look at my CS. I am about 30 CS higher than my nearest opponent. Just very, very far ahead. Got 3 kills as well, sitting on a mountain of gold. Let's see here. Yep, sitting on about 3,000 gold. So that's really, really nice. Going to pretty much finish off my Infinity Edge. A 15-minute Infinity Edge is so nice. I've talked about this before, but there's kind of like... I would say there's 3 different routes you can go with early itemization for AD carries. You could itemize for crit, you can itemize for flat AD, or you can itemize for attack speed. And Caitlyn is definitely a crit AD carry as we get a nice little scuffle here, getting a nice kill there with that last auto attack onto Zed, and another one onto Mordekaiser as they're tanking tower shots like bosses. Ooh, nice job. Can I get the kill? Flashing, auto attack moving. And throw out the Q. Max range Q is going to pick up that kill, giving me that triple kill. Really starting to snowball this game out of control. And you can just see how much that early Infinity Edge... let's actually watch this team fight one more time. This early Infinity Edge was doing so much work for me. I think I actually got a final crit there onto Zed to pick up the kill. If you watch all the crits that I'm getting, I'm actually going to slow this down. And getting the ulti onto Zac, I think. Nice job by TF. Gonna get the auto attack right there to finish that one off. Now we're gonna start. Let's go to this nice spectator mode there. Let's hear the turret shot plus the crit. Gets another kill. So 2 crits right there. Able to pick up some couple of early kills. And gonna use my Nanometer Collar Net to get in position. Probably should have just auto attacked there instead of Q. There's the flash. And gonna get there's a crit right there. Oh man, that was way max range. Very nice. So overall, a really nice team fight right there. Just kind of coming in at the right moment. I think made all the difference in the world. Now I'm gonna shove the heck out of this tower. Not afraid. Anyways, back to my point I was talking about earlier. So some AD carries really like to itemize for attack damage. These would be AD carries that mostly utilize high AD ratios on their abilities. So I'm talking specifically about Graves with his Q and his R. Talking about Misfortune with her R and her Q as well. You could consider Caitlyn in that if you like to use her Q and her ultimate as well. A lot of Qs and ultimates. But you know, I would say that Caitlyn doesn't really have the shortest of cooldowns to really make that work. A 6-second cooldown on her Q is pretty nice, so if you want to use that, but her Q is a little bit easy to dodge, I think. But some of these AD carries that you really want to itemize, Ezreal is probably in there, Corki are in there as well, depending on their abilities. And early Bloodthirster is really nice just because it gives you the maximum amount of flat attack damage. But the more auto attack based carries really want to get an early Infinity Edge. Infinity Edge is the best auto attack item in the game. It gives you early AD, it gives you crit, and it gives you that amazing passive for 250% crit damage. The passive alone is worth its weight in gold. As you can see, my teammates are getting caught out here and going to die as we take this Dargon. Oh, I actually remember that. Lee Sin. We want to watch this one more time. This was hilarious. So, watch this. So, Thresh throws out the Lantern, and check this out. Lee Sin is getting dumpstered right now. Doesn't pick up that kill. He's actually been struggling a little bit. Let's see. Does he flash over the wall? He does flash and hits the Lantern, but no. The Dragon, I think, actually might have picked up that last bit of damage right there, unfortunately, onto Lee Sin. Sorry, friend. But anyways, getting back to what I was saying. Infinity Edge is the best, hands down, single best auto attack, improvement item in the game. It is so good. And so early Infinity Edge on Caitlyn is amazing. She is primarily auto attack based with her damage, just because she's got that long range. Wow, we just destroyed him. I am missing all these little fights. The T-Man Thresh gets a really nice hook. And you can see, just watch the number of critical strikes that I get onto this Mord. There's one, there's two, and there's three. 3 straight crits just ends his life. And you can see how itemizing for this early crit is so useful. It just provides me with so much damage. And I got my early Static Shiv to go with it as well. IE Static Shiv is definitely my go-to combo for Caitlyn. Other auto attack based carries would be like Ashe, Tristana, other AD carries that are mostly focused on auto attacks for their damage. Especially like Trist is a classic example of somebody who pretty much is only about her auto attack. She's got her passive and her Q, which make her an amazing AD carry. Her W gives her safety, her ultimate gives her safety, but she really benefits from crit just because she's such a strong auto attacker. And then the third category, so you've got your BT AD carries, Caitlyn, maybe even Draven, Corki, Ezreal, Graves. You've got your auto attack based carries with Infinity Edge. That would be Caitlyn, Tristana, Ashe. Then you've got your attack speed based AD carries. And these are AD carries that rely on getting a succession of auto attacks in order to proc a certain ability or steroid of something. See, I'm getting this tower pretty much for free. And am I going to get this kill onto Zach? Going to get the ult. I think I procced his passive. Yeah, it looks like I did. But I'm going to have to get out of here because Ezreal wants my blood. But then you have the attack speed-based carries. These, like I said, are champions that have incentives to get multiple succession of auto attacks on a single target. And then you want to rush Blade of the Ruined King. Because it gives you early AD from the Bilgewater Cutlass, which I said you always want to itemize for early attack damage. But then it gives you attack speed, which is so nice. Man, getting crit after crit. I think I crit every single auto attack there. Missed one, there's a crit. Missed one, there's another crit. So out of those 7 auto attacks, I think I got 4 crits, 5 crits maybe. Just massive damage. Critical Strike is so OP. But anyways, I am so meandering on this point. I'm going to finish it up here. Talking about Vayne with her Silver Bolts. Talking about maybe Varus with his Blight stacks. Talking about Twitch with his passive in the poison. These are AD carries that have a reason to incentivize and itemize for attack speed. Early attack speed on them is so good, especially Vayne is the classic example of... actually, my team ditches me here as I get dove by these 2 carries, and I'm just going to get out of here and probably get dove. But the reason you want to itemize for attack speed on those guys is because you really want to get those multiple succession of auto attacks going on those carries. It is so powerful to get those auto attacks going in quick succession. With Vayne, getting 1 proc of her W is way better than a couple of high AD crits is kind of my point there. That if you can focus on making sure that TF is doing work here. Triple, can he get the quad? Yes, he can. Quadra. So, anyways, that's kind of the overview of your AD carries early build choices and the reason why I go for kind of the build that I did. You've got your auto attack based carries getting Infinity Edge. You got your flat AD spell based AD carries getting Bloodthirster, and you've got your attack speed based carries getting Blade of the Ruined King. From there, I would say that you always want to I would say Last Whisperer needs to be a very high priority for a second or third item. Last Whisper is so crucial on AD carries. I can't even explain it. It's probably... I've read some posts about Last Whisper and Void Staff, and it's deceptive because they're not very expensive, but they are so good. And even against like low armor and MR targets, it is still extremely cost effective. I actually remember this moment. I got caught way out of position and just ended up dying. Stupid of me to be down here pushing. I should have been mid with my team. Anyways, Last Whisper is so strong as a second or third item. It is absolutely something that you need at, like, I would say 100% of games you need to get the early Last Whisper second or third item. And I got a third item here just because Infinity Edge and Static Shiv / Phantom Dancer pair so well together to give you that 65% crit chance, which you really need to make Infinity Edge worth it. Then Last Whisper is so good. Having 40% armor penetration is, it just is such a, 35% ignore of armor is so good. I can't even explain it to you. We've got Zac building armor, and that's pretty much about it. But every champion is pretty much going to be running some sort of armor in their runes or masteries, I would say. It's extremely uncommon for them to not run armor. So getting this, or let me just look how much I'm just chunking down these guys. Oh, that was a money Q right there. And a nice little finish off right there to get the Zac's going to go into his pass. I want to watch this one more time. This is a nice little series. Getting the kill onto... let's watch this nice and slow. Get a kill on Soraka. Look at this. I actually 90 caliber net to get underneath Zac's jump. Getting the Q. And then probably should have auto-attacked Zed right away. But then moving immediately to Zac. And finishing him off. He actually kind of glitched out right there, but it's okay. You guys get the gist of what just happened. TF is going to port in for no good reason, and I'm going to pick up the quad. So very nice stuff right there, just showing you I'm extremely strong, extremely fed. And just look at my items compared to Ezreal's. This was really the point that I think I made earlier. Ezreal has CDR boots, Manamune, Triforce. I do not care for these items in this itemization pattern. I just don't think that this is very strong. If you want to get the early Triforce, go for it. But he got the early tier. I think he went like Phage tier on his first buy. I do not like that. If you're going to get Triforce, get Phage. Ooh, I actually picked up a kill right there. Get Phage, get the Sheen. And then finish off the Triforce kind of in one fell swoop. But don't go for tier. If you're going to go blue build, get tier. But if you're going to go Triforce, then don't. Get a Bloodthirster, get an Infinity Edge, get a Last Whisper. If you want to go Triforce, Last Whisper, that's an extremely powerful combination of items. If you want to get Triforce BT Last Whisper, that's also a very, very strong combination of items. But don't go for the tier. The Manamune is very much not the ideal itemization choice. And if you just look at how much more presence I have in these team fights, I think that the build speaks for itself. So going to use my barrier right there to make sure I get a nice little crit to finish off that broski. And I'm going to try to get the ult, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Caitlyn's ultimate really does fall off in terms of damage and effectiveness late game. Just in team fights, it's relatively worthless. And sometimes you'll even see pros who will throw it out very early just to kind of chunk down an enemy before a team fight, before they even get there. So actually Zed is just going to straight up dumpster me, unfortunately. I actually want to see, where does he go? Oh, he just recalls here. Check this out. Yep, Gangplank walks right past him. Oh, that makes me sad. So, yeah, that was the death of me. Kind of got caught out there getting greedy for a wave. Good job by Zed, though, to know that he can blow me up. Zed was actually pretty strong. He's probably the scariest person on their team. Zed and Mord. And like I said, I really don't think that this Ezreal... And then he gets a Vamp Scepter? Oh, Ezreal, my friend. This was very, very poor build choices, in my opinion. Oh, I actually pick up another kill with my ult. That's crazy. But check this out. Now, oh, not quite able to get... I didn't get knocked up. But, okay, now I need to pick off this Mord. Oh, Mord, please. There we go. There's the kill on a Mord. There's the kill on a Zed. Just stacking those crits, getting that red buff slow. Attack moving. in between auto attacks, so crucial. Get another set of kills. I actually picked up like 3. I'm up to 17 kills. This is absurd. It's so many kills this game. But I mean, to be completely honest, if you're an AD carry and you get fed, you got that early Infinity Edge, Phantom Dancer / Static Shiv going, you are so strong. I mean, I am absolutely wrecking these guys. I probably should have gone on to Ezreal, but I really wanted to finish off Zac, and I felt like TF could finish off Ezreal, which he did successfully. So we just got an inhibitor at 30 minutes, up to 18 kills. I finished off a Bloodthirster as well. I feel like BT is a great 4th item. Just because, especially in a game like this where there's a lot of squishy targets, BT gives you the maximum amount of attack damage to really maximize. So your crits start, it scales, multiplicatively with if you're critting for 250% of your attack damage. If your attack damage is increased by 100, critting for 250% of that is pretty substantial boost in damage because it's a percentage-based increase. If you increase your AD, you obviously increase the percent by which it scales. So probably should have waited on the E right there on Zed till he got on me. A little bit of a mistake. So, but Mord is going super ham. Is he actually going to pick up this kill on the Lee? I hope he doesn't. He got super chunked. But I'm going to actually missed my Q right there. Going to pick up the auto attack right there. And nice job. Able to get... It looks like actually Lee Sin did end up going down, but it's okay. I actually made a big mistake right there and do get picked off, unfortunately. So, Ezreal. And then Gangplank. I gotta say, this Gangplank wasn't my favorite. He probably just could have ran away right there and been fine. But instead, he goes back in and gets dumb. Oh, he does pick up the kill. So, 1 for 1. Probably not the end of the world. But if we take stock of this game, we're pretty far ahead. We're far ahead. I would say at this point we're definitely far ahead. Gangplank's ahead. Lee Sin is doing a great job of getting us going, and he's starting to build tanky. Well, I know his damage is going to fall off, so I'm mostly just relying on his utility. His attack speed still isn't really going to be very helpful against anyone in particular, but that's okay. And so overall, we're just going to try to finish out this game as best as we can. Little nook here right there to get this Baron from the backside. Pretty much a free Baron at this point because they don't have any vision, I don't think. Yeah, they don't have any vision of that. And that's the nice thing in map vision. And I've got my 6-item build completed. Here's another team fight. Let's go ahead and move into this mode. Just trying to kite back as best as I can. Now I'm moving aggressively. Going to finish off this Soraka. Double kill right there, I believe. Looks like Ezreal did get dumpstered by TF. But I think TF... No, he didn't quite get Zac. But we didn't really want to chase Ezreal. Where did he actually go? He recalled in that brush with Zac. So, not sure if it would have been worth it to go chasing after them. They did make it back. Yep, Ezreal's probably back in Fountain by now. We're just going to shove this wave and hopefully pick up a turret. Maybe even get another inhib. So yeah, at this point we just want to shove objectives. And I have to realize that I'm strong. I've got my Guardian Angel, so I don't have to be quite so scared as maybe I would otherwise. But I'm very strong, and I need to focus on staying alive. And just dealing the damage that I can deal is really what I want to try and do. Probably not the best use of my ult right there, but I actually thought Israel was going to be backing away. Now Zed ults me. I do have my GA and my barrier, so I'm going to be fine. But now I see Mord, and I really want to run it. He's going to ult me. And I really don't... See, the thing about Mordekaiser is he will scale really, really hard. And if he wins a team fight, he can really snowball it because with this like clone thing that's going on with him, I really don't want to get cloned because if they clone me, they will wreck a team fight if he minions me or whatever. But here we go. Nice little engage right there, able to pick up that kill. And we're just kind of in the drive. I mean, we're doing so well. We're getting a ton of kills. We have constant map control. We are doing very, very well. But TF goes super ham. He picks up the kill, but ends up dying himself. Don't know if that is necessarily worth it, but now I think this was the point where things go south for us. Watch what we do. Our team totally splits. Lee Sin, I think, thought that I was there with him, and if I had stayed with him, I probably would have been best, but I had pinged down to pick up this inhibitor down here. Gangplank, who knows what he's doing, but he went top. So now it's just kind of Thresh and I bot, and we kind of lost our advantage. There's a lot of them are very low. And there are 2 open inhibitors. I'm not sure why Gangplank is top trying to push this lane in. And I suddenly go to do Dragon. So, and Thresh is warding. So very poor coordination. You know, if I had gone over here, maybe we could have taken this tower. I really think this was the point where we really made some mistakes, and we could have done a much better job of getting ourselves into a solid position and making sure that we can really press our lead and our advantage. But we didn't really do that, and I think that we end up suffering for that a little bit. It looks like Gangplank did pick up a nice kill on the Mord, but then he's getting chased and gets shut down as well, so not sure if that was worth it. But 1 for 1 is not such a big deal. We still have a very strong team. Now we're just going to come middle, and it looks like nice job but to ult there, but a good initiation by... I'm going to try to E away, and I just got to chip away at this Zac. I am pretty much the only person who can deal with him effectively. And he wants to jump in on me. That's fine. There we go. Nice 90 caliber net. And I'm just going to pull away, because Ezreal is starting to get his build in order. If we take a look, he has finished his Mirror Mana. So I will say that Mirror Mana is a good scaling item. So the longer the game goes on, he will get more benefit from that. Also picked up a Blade of the Ruin King. So just a very strange Ezreal build. Again, I don't really care for it. I think that much of the problems that the enemy has been having thus far, especially in teamfights, has just been the disparity in power between Ezreal and myself. Has really swung the teamfights in our favor. My ability to shred tanks and Ezreal's inability to shred tanks, I think, is working very well for us. You can see he hasn't really itemized for crit other than the 10% from the Triforce, and I really think that that's a mistake. Yeah, I don't really think that it's very smart for him to fail to itemize for crit. But at this point, we're just kind of derping around. We did a very poor job of closing out this game. And I was saying in chat, guys, we just need a group. I'm very strong. If you can peel for me and keep Zed and Zac off of me, especially, if we can especially get Zed and Mordekaiser down, because those are the guys that can really snowball the team fight, I really think that'll be the key to success, because we are very, very strong. And so here we go. Here's another fight. I did pick up the inhibitor, but then we get really... what is... Gangplank is diving Soraka, and his GA gets popped. I get caught out. I do end up picking up the kill, but my GA gets popped right there, and we all just kind of die. Oh, so low. Mord was so slow. And Gangplank, what is he doing? Oh, let's watch this team fight one more time, because this, I think, was a fairly poor example. So we get the inhib. Let's go down to half speed. We get the inhibitor. You can see Zed is going to ult me. Zac is going to jump in on me. 4 of us are working nicely over here versus 3 of them over there. If Gangplank had just come on over, I think we would have been really fine, but Thresh gets taken out. Lee Sin gets taken out. Nice yellow card there onto Zac, but there goes my Guardian Angel, and we just don't quite have the damage. I think that if I had done a little bit better job, I'd get a couple of auto attacks in, but not quite enough. Just one more auto attack probably could have swung and Gangplank, if he had been there, what again was he doing when he comes up off of his GA? Does he go after Soraka? Oh, that right there is vexing. Please tell me he gets the kill. No, he doesn't even get the kill. He gets... Oh, GP, that was poor, my friend. Not so well played. So we end up getting dumpstered. If only you had been with us, I think we could have done work there, but unfortunately we're not able to really get anything going. So, again, just kind of not taking advantage of our lead. We're very strong, but some poor team fight decisions from Gangplank. And then when you combine that with the fact that they do have strong team fighting, with Mordekaiser, if he gets a kill early, that he can really steamroll that in with his clones. Zac is such a strong initiator, and he is tanky. I am having a bit of a hard time. He's got a lot of armor, and even with my Last Whisper, I'm having a hard time really cutting through his defenses. And so, yeah, we're kind of having a hard time. I do want to also highlight my build choice. I actually sold my boots for a Zephyr, and I have a full 6-item build. Probably also should have sold my GA for something else, but... because your GA is really only worth it when the passive is up. And a nice trick if you're rolling in gold like I was this game is to sell your GA when it's on cooldown and then try to get something else like a Randuin's or a Warmog. So anyways, here we go. Zach gets a really solid initiation, and watch the way that our whole team is just running away. I get all the focus because I have all the gold, and from here we are in trouble. Lots and lots of trouble. Thresh is going to go down, unfortunately. Gangplank does pick up a kill on Zed, which was good. Now Gangplank is going to try to pick up another kill, but he's just not strong enough. I think Twisted Fate did pick up the kill on a Zac, but... And then we have a nice little run around here. I remember this with TF and Ezreal and Mord. Oh, it looks like Lee Sin wasn't even there? I'm a little bit confused and vexed. Was that really a 4v5? And then he comes off, throws at it. There we go. He does actually pick up those kills. So that was kind of funny. Was Lee Sin really not there the whole time? No, he was there. He just splits away. Okay, I understand now. So unfortunately, though, that went fairly poorly for us. And again, we're just not really been able to get the team fights going. Our team fight coordination has been quite weak. We don't really have any good initiation. We don't have the best peel to keep Zed and Zac. I mean, Zed is so strong. There's just nothing I could do to really keep myself from dying to him. You know, he's got all this damage. Although I don't really understand why he picked up a Glacial Shroud. He doesn't use mana, so that seems very golden efficient, but we'll see what he turns it into. Also, at this point, I would sell mobility boots if I were Zed, just because roaming is going to be pretty much not happening right now. But that's kind of up to him. So, anyways, we're getting really close to the end here. If we look, I actually think I picked my boots up because I felt like I really needed the mobility. I think that was a mistake to pick up the Zephyr. I think that the Zephyr can work if you are getting good peel, but because I'm getting dove so hard, I need to be able to kite Zed and Zac. And so I picked up my Berserker Greaves with the Führer enchantment at this point, and this was actually one of the moments of the game. Check this out. TP just teleported in, Gangplank is running, and their team decides to dive. If you take a look, I get blown up, and that's fine. My GA gets popped. I try to flash away and try to get in a little bit more damage going, but there we go. Good job, at least, to just distract them. They get one tower and an inhibitor, but check this out. We're on the Nexus turrets. We're on the Nexus itself, and they have not even gotten any of our towers, and we do end up picking up the win. So... kind of a wild and crazy game right there. Ended up finishing 22-7-9. I had a little bit of struggles in the late game. Going down to Zed and Zac, they are pretty formidable opponents for an NE80 carry, especially one that's super fed and getting all the attention. But still, a very fun game that went down to the wire, and we did end up picking up the victory despite our own shortcomings. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a really fun game. Let me know if you want more of these kind of shoutcasts of some of my better games that I wanted to bring to you guys in the future, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.